The downside to shooting in automatic is you lose some flexibility in setting up some of your shots. Maybe your exposure is not exactly the way you want it, or your focus is not on the thing that you want, or your white balance is just a little weird. In cases like that, it's best to shoot in manual. Here's how to set your camera up for manual. One setting that you can set in manual mode is the iris. Like the iris of an eye, the iris on a camera opens or closes to let in more or less light. The wider you open it, the more light it lets in. This is measured in f-stops. When the iris is open too wide, the bright areas of your video shot lose detail and just become white. Too low, and your shot looks dark and you lose detail in the shadow areas of your shot. To set your iris, press this button here, and you'll notice in the monitor a number comes up. This is your f-stop, or aperture setting. There's a little toggle button down here that when you click it up or down, it opens or closes the iris. Note how in the monitor, as I close the iris, the shot gets darker. As I open the iris, it gets brighter. Once your exposure is set the way you want it, just press in on the iris button and your iris is set. And you will see here on the monitor what your iris setting is. Right below the iris button is the shutter button. Use this to adjust the camera's shutter speed. When you think about shutter speed, think of the shutter on a still camera and how long it stays open to take a photograph. The faster the shutter speed, the shorter the interval of time that light strikes the lens. Thus, when you have a fast shutter speed, it lets less light in, and any motion that is captured is very sharp. On the other end, when you have a slow shutter speed, the shutter is open for a longer time, letting more light in and making motion blurry. Here is a video shot using a high shutter speed. Here is one using a slow shutter speed. The normal shutter setting for video is 1/60. That setting works well with video's 60 fields per second frame rate. Adjusting the shutter speed in manual is very similar to adjusting the iris. You press the shutter button and use this little toggle switch to make it faster or slower. The highest it goes is 1/10,000. You might want to use that for shooting fast action footage. The slowest it goes is 1/3.75. That leaves your shutter open quite a while. With that setting, you get heavy blurring on any motion. Another camera setting is the white balance. The white balance is a setting that ensures that your video is going to look the right color. There are different color temperatures of light. Outside light has a high temperature and a bluish tint to it. Indoor, incandescent light has a lower color temperature and appears more yellowish. If you shoot video and your camera is set to the wrong white balance, your video will appear off color. Setting the white balance correctly takes care of that problem. So here's how to set the white balance. You have three options here with the white balance setting. There is A, B, and preset. The preset option is set via a menu option. The A and B options can be set manually on the fly using the white balance button. What you do is you set the switch to either A or B, and then zoom in on a white card or something else that is white, that is in the color temperature of light that you will be shooting in. Then press this button here, the auto white button. If you're looking at your monitor when you hit the button, you may notice the change in color. The white card you're pointing at now looks white rather than tinted. You can retain two different white balances at the same time, one in the A and one in the B, and then flip between them easily. Raising the gain could be a fast and quick way to increase the brightness of your picture when you're shooting in a dark situation. But you really should keep it, the gain low unless absolutely necessary, because the more you raise the gain, the more noise and graininess you get in your picture. Noise is this grainy sort of sparkle that permeates your shot. But when you're shooting and it's very dark, raising the gain might be the only way you can get the shot. To raise the gain, there is a little switch right here with the low, medium, and high settings. As you flip the switch, you can see in the monitor the effect it has on the brightness. Just remember, the higher the gain, the more grainy your shot will be, so keep it on low unless absolutely necessary. You can set your focus to be on automatic or manual apart from the automatic mode setting. Here is the button that you push to alternate between manual or automatic. In the monitor, you will notice either MF or AF. When you shoot in autofocus, the camera focuses on whatever is in the center of the screen. The downside to autofocus is that something unexpected can pop up into your screen and cause your focus to go way off. Or maybe you want to have the focus on something that is not in the center of the screen. When it is in manual focus, here's how you set the focus. First, you need to set this switch to focus if it's not on it already. This switch determines what this adjustment ring does. When it's on zoom, twisting the ring will manually zoom in and out. When the switch is on focus, the adjustment ring is used to adjust the focus. To set your focus, you zoom into the object that you want to focus on. Twist this ring while looking at the monitor until your focus is clear and in focus. Then when you zoom out again, everything should be in focus. When you are shooting in very bright conditions, the neutral density filter is one more way to coarsely help with exposure. When you turn the neutral density filter to on, it is like putting a semi-transparent shade over the lens. It cuts the brightness by several stops. This comes in handy when you're shooting outside in bright sun.